So recently I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and I thought it was really good. This was one of the few movies that I was actually anticipating this year, and it absolutely did not disappoint, which I'm not really surprised by since it's directed by one of my favorite directors of all time, Quentin Tarantino. And even though this isn't one of Tarantino's best works, I still think he did a really good job with this film. He really went into detail with making everything look like it's from the 1960s, like literally everything, from the buildings to like the cars to like the fucking can of food to like the people to like the clothes, literally everything. He put in so much detail. After the film was finished, my mom turned to me and actually told me it gave her nostalgia because of how accurate it was to the time period. And if you look it up online, there's literally like a whole list of like stuff that Tarantino references in this movie. Most of those references being films and like TV shows and like actors and such. Most obvious being Bruce Lee and Sharon Tate. In fact, this movie was kind of like a love letter to cinema and like TV because of how much it references. I thought everyone's performance in this was like really good, especially Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. It was really fun and entertaining to watch them play these characters. They were just so good. And whenever they were in a scene together, they had so much chemistry. There was also like a lot of cool shots and camera work. Like there's a couple scenes where the camera focuses on like one character and then without cutting or anything, it stays in one consistent shot, transitions to like another character or like another thing happening in the story, and it was really cool. There's also a lot of shots of feet in this movie. Tarantino expresses his foot fetish the most in this movie. Well, I mean, there is that one scene from Dusk Till Dawn, but now I want to fucking kill myself from reminding me of that. There were some parts where they try to remake scenes from different movies but just have like Leonardo DiCaprio be in there instead of like the original actor, or like they made their own versions of movies from the 50s or 60s or like TV shows, and some look good but some kind of look awkward. It kind of looked like they used like a normal high quality camera and just added like a little bit of effects to try to make it look older. Kind of reminded me of those sad Simpson edits where they add the purple VHS effect over Bart crying. This movie was also very different than the average Tarantino movie. Most Tarantino movies have like this extreme violence and like these intense scenes, and like everything is so fucking serious. People are put in danger, people almost die, people do die, or there's scenes where like people are just having a normal conversation but you feel like it's gonna go apeshit any minute, and most of the time it does. But this movie was very laid back and it was very dialogue driven. Although Tarantino is known for his really great dialogue, this movie is mostly just people talking. And although I found it entertaining, there's probably gonna be a lot of people who find this movie boring because of that. In fact, when I walked out the theater, I heard someone behind me go, "Wow, that was kind of boring," which I can completely understand, but for me, I thought it was great. And also, even though this movie is mostly just people talking, there is one very Tarantino-like scene, and if you go out and watch this movie, you'll see what I mean. And it is fucking awesome. It is amazing. It's such a great scene. I'm not gonna spoil any more of it. I'm not gonna explain more. Just go watch the fucking movie just to see that one part. In fact, not just that one part. Go watch the movie to see all of it. But trust me, that one scene that I'm talking about is awesome. Okay, now I think we talk about the problems that I think this movie has. I think I already mentioned how some of the scenes kind of reminded me of a sad Simpsons edit. I did not really get the reason why Sharon Tate was in this movie. I did not really get the whole Charles Manson and Sharon Tate stuff at all. I know who Sharon Tate is, I know what happened to her, and I know who Charles Manson is, but I don't really understand why this was in the movie, and it kind of felt out of place and like it didn't really need to be there. And every time it cut back to Margot Robbie as Sharon, I was struggling to understand why she was in the film at all. And I tried to ask other people who've watched the film what they got out of it, and I listened to them, and I still don't really get it. all that much. Maybe I'm just fucking dumb, I don't know. Then there's this like one scene where time jumps and like this narrator explains everything that happened, and I didn't really mind it at all, but after a while it started kind of getting old, and I felt like it went on for too long. There's also some scenes that I do feel kind of drag a bit, but it's not really that bad, and even with this movie's flaws, I still think it's really good. Not my favorite of the year, but definitely one of my favorites. Midsummer still holds the #1 spot, but I feel like that may change after I watch The Lighthouse and Parasite, and there's much more movies to come out this year. I'm very excited to see Cats, not because it looks good, but actually because the fucking opposite of that. There are much more movies coming out, and I can't wait to watch them and review them, I guess. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Pretty good. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Has some problems, but overall, it's a good movie. Anyway, you guys, like the video, subscribe, follow me on all my social media, give me attention, and I'll see you later.
How long did your wife have to go without sex after your car accident? Because I'm walking. I'm ready to walk to North Carolina and fuck your wife.